Hi there, thank you for checking out this video. My name is Siobhan. This is Art Skills Online. This is where I post videos related to figure drawing and specifically how to develop a natural and expressive style of drawing. So if that's something that interests you, then stay tuned, consider subscribing because I post a video every week sharing my process, my thoughts about drawing the figure and also tips and techniques. So today's video features a portrait sketch or a study for a portrait using gesture throughout and also focusing on just drawing the shadow shapes. I wanted to share this video because so often when we're drawing a portrait, we tend to focus on a very rigid, almost templated approach, especially with the features like the eyes or the nose. It can be useful to let go of that sometimes and just draw the features or the face in a very natural and free-form way. Definitely for me, when I do that, it helps to turn off that self-criticism or that judgment that can really stop you from even finishing a drawing. You know, that voice in your head that says that's not really what a nose looks like, or you're not drawing the eye correctly there. Here's the video. I'll explain a little bit more about what I mean and I'll check back in with you at the end. So the two processes that I want to explain in this video are gesture or scribble drawing, as opposed to using a structural, precise line work that delineates specific shapes. It's kind of like when you use scribble drawing, you're building up form throughout your drawing as though you're modeling clay. So you can think about it in a sense that you're just slowly building up the shapes or building up the portrait over time with your pencil marks. And the other process is really about observing the shadow shapes throughout the face. The key really is to start light and to make big sweeping marks across your page and to not be afraid to put down marks like this at the start. Any kind of marks whatsoever, even if they don't even relate to the drawing yet. That's so important in the early stage because if you get a bit too precious or a bit too tight at the beginning and you get too specific about your marks or where you put a line down, you actually will cut yourself off from being able to correct things later on. Okay, so this is a gesture line. I'm really, first of all, I just established the angle of the head, like the midline down the center of the face and the angle of the eye line and the outer shapes of the hair. The technique just requires that you keep your pencil in contact with the page continuously. So try to not pick up your pencil if you can and work around the whole composition with your pencil in contact with the page. Then it's also really important to draw with curved lines. So I'm starting to use gestural marks, but really keeping them rounded. I'm trying to follow the round shape of the face and the head. You often really, you hear a lot of people talking about the planes of the face, but for me actually, it's that roundness of the head and all of the features actually. It's not just the overall outline. Really every part of the face, the cheeks, the brow, the jawline, everything on the face is round. There aren't any straight lines. So I find that getting that into my marks, getting that into my drawing is really, it makes the biggest difference to me anyway. The jawline is so difficult to get right simply because we do think of it as a line. But if you think that it's round, it rounds out very slowly, sort of away from the ear to the chin. It's kind of coming forwards in space, but it's also rounding downwards from the cheek down towards the neck. Equally, the mouth is also a very sort of rounded area, and getting that into your drawing and just using this loose gestural line to kind of figure it out and map it out really helps. So, as I say, all of this is done with a kind of a scribble line. This scribble line or this gesture line helps keep that rounded quality, but it also allows you to search out the shapes without feeling as though you're putting down a wrong line or a wrong mark. All of the marks that you make will eventually feed into this wonderful map of the face, and they'll tell their own story of how you studied the subject. Like it'll show us where your eyes moved across the face, how you engaged with the model or your sitter, how you engaged with what you're looking at. This kind of scribble line also covers up mistakes and can make those mistakes part of the whole. So scribble drawing means that you do have to work continuously. You have to keep it light, and you've got to work up the marks progressively as you get more sure or more definite about what you're drawing. Then you can really start to lean in and make those marks a little bit darker, a little bit more specific. So now at this point I want to talk about drawing the eyes, and in fact about drawing the features in general. The internet is full of methods of how to draw a nose or how to draw eyes. These videos are actually like the most popular drawing videos. So if you watch any of them, you get like a really clear step-by-step approach. It's very structured. It's just really about breaking things down into simple shapes and working from it that way. But for me anyway, this approach makes you think that there is a right way to draw the nose or a right way to draw these features, that you should be making these modeled perfect features every time. And that's what really stops me in my tracks when I'm drawing. If I start to see that, oh, this nose doesn't look anything like the perfect modeled version, then I kind of give up on the drawing. What you can do, what I do sometimes, is just give yourself permission every once in a while to not draw the shape or the structure or the anatomy of a nose, and just draw the shadows. If you identify the shadow shapes around certain features and you draw them, that really helps to make the drawing come together. So it helps you to see something, be it the nose or the eyes or whatever, as though you're seeing it for the first time, and you don't sort of have any of these preconceived notions about how it should be. When that happens, you've got an opportunity to actually make a very sort of honest or true observation and make some really honest, true marks in response to that. Now, I get that this approach is a little bit undisciplined, or it's unanatomical, and it's definitely very, very unacademic. But you know that by now, if you've watched any of my other videos, that I care a lot more about the process of observing things for the first time and about feeling into the drawing than I do about accuracy or photorealism or likeness. I think ultimately you can capture a wonderful likeness with this kind of gestural approach. So I'd love to know what you think about this way of drawing. Let me know in the comments. Do you prefer hyperrealism in your portraits or a more expressive experience of the sitter? What are your thoughts about this? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you so much for sticking with me right to the end and watching this video all the way through. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got some useful information out of it or some inspiration for your own drawing, and that you feel ready to tackle drawing a portrait. I'll encourage you to do so and let me know how you got on. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.